Yes. Tyrone, can they get your presentation?
Yes, this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this video will be downloaded for this one, but you also, if you Google Tyrone Moncriffe's name, there are lots of videos on YouTube. So he has right now, as of today, I counted, there's at least 8 presentations of his different seminars that he's put on for TCDLA and other organizations.
My name's Casey Brock, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just finished my first year at UH Law. And
Oh, wow,
we are
okay.
interns for
Yes, ma'am.
the Public Defender's Office. And I was wondering if there's if you could just have 5 seconds to give the best advice you could to up-and-comings, not the new attorneys, but the ones that are still battling the wars of law school. What would you tell us?
Can I do this? Look, I want some other lawyers to help me with this. Clyde, Rob, come on up. I want come on up. Some veteran lawyers, come on up.
Randy, come on. Randy.
Yeah. Look,
Give the old school.
This is my old school. We all going to answer this one for you. Okay?
I'm almost there.
Go ahead. Anybody, now, ask the question again.
If you have 1 moment to give your best bit of advice, your best do or do not to those who are still trying to make it through our 3 years of hell, what is your advice?
The other day I was on the 3rd floor looking at an old file, and there was this young man sitting there, and he had a whole bunch of boxes in front of him. So we started talking as I was waiting on the file, my file to look at. And so I asked him, what did he do? He said, I'm a law student. He went on to tell me about that he worked for the Innocence Project, and we talked about what a great thing that was. And we talked about him being a first-year law student, just having finished his first year of law school. And so we started talking about exchanging stories. And one of the stories was that I remember my first year of law school, and I was overwhelmed by the fact that I couldn't read all the cases. I couldn't read all the cases in the cases, and most of them I didn't understand anyway. And there was this older lawyer who was a 3rd-year lawyer. He was standing alongside of me, and of course he was my insurance man, and so we had this conversation, and he heard me talking about it, and he says, well, let me tell you something. You'll never read all those cases.
Right.
I'm in my 3rd year. It's one of the things that you learn in law school, that you never, ever know enough.
Right.
You never read enough.
Right.
You're never over-prepared.
Right.
There's always something else you can do.
Right.
So we talked about Detroit, because he was from Detroit, and you may know him. It ended up that we talked about the things that he already knew and the things would be important to him when he finished law school. His experiences growing up in Detroit, that there was a lawyer in my office. His daddy was a physician. His mom was a physician. He went to Vanderbilt. He finished from another great law school, and he was homeschooled. And I was telling him there were a lot of things that he knew that he didn't know. Like the time I chose to walk not through a park in Detroit with my wife with me when I was on a case up there in Michigan, and she wanted to know why I didn't want to walk through the park. I said, because they don't know I'm from out of town. And when I told him that, he says, you're right, because he knew where the place was.
Right.
Ultimately, and I'm going to make this very, very short, the final thing was, why did you decide to go to law school?
Right.
You talked about it, and so
Right.
I told him about why I decided to go to law school, and who I had walked up to Craig Washington, who was in 1969, he was the dean of students, a dean of admissions at Texas Southern. And I just had a bad situation at this place where I was working at, Grocer Supply. I was just tired. I wanted a better job. I wanted to get out of the warehouse. I wanted to stop wearing out boots every 3 days and gloves and stuff. And so they told me that I needed more education, even though the man I was talking to, I had more education than he had. And so I went and told Craig when he asked me why I wanted to go to law school, because I had done nothing other than had a degree. I said, I'm tired of asking white folk for a job. This young man told me this. That's the very reason I went to law school. I was tired of asking white folk for a job. He was white. And so I think what it really says is that the things that I felt and we felt, you know more than you're ever going to know about being a good lawyer once you get the license.
Right.
Get the license.
Right.
Learn everything you can. Understand you'll never learn enough.
Right.
And your experiences will make you separate yourself from the pack. And it's going to be what makes you great, those experiences.
I'm going to speak to the fact as if you were a young lawyer and you were practicing. It's going to sound simple, and it is simple, but it's extremely difficult to do. First of all, never look for justice at the courthouse. Make your justice.
Right. There you go. There you go.
Secondly, the judge often is wrong. And insulate yourself from all the negativity of the bailiff who wants you to get through, the judge, all of the prosecutor, all the other witnesses, and people who don't want you to put on your case. Because if you're a defense attorney, particularly in the criminal arena, I can't underscore how much unfairness exists from how you sit in the courtroom, your access to, you don't have a bailiff who's going to do things for you, or even a process server. You're going to have to jump through hoops. It is difficult, but you can't do it, and the reward is not money. The reward is knowing that you've genuinely helped someone,
Right,
that you've
right.
saved their life,
Right,
a big
right.
part of their life.
Let me add something. I'll let him finish it up. How bad do you want it? Is a question I have. Really, how bad do you want it? If you're going because you want to get rich or look like Johnny Cochran on TV and all these great lawyers, if you're going for somebody else, it's a challenge. You got to want it bad. I saw a movie, and I'm going to shut up and let him finish with this. I saw a movie a long time ago called 300. Y'all remember a movie called 300? That these 300 warriors were going to fight this huge army. There were other people wanting to join the 300. They didn't have it. Everybody can't do this work. Some people need to go do other work. And you need to ask yourself, do I have it? Do I want it bad enough when even things are bad? So we all want it when things are good, right? Yeah. When things are bad, I'm willing to go through school. I'm willing to study those extra hours when it's bad to fight through it. If you want it bad enough, it'll show.
And Randy Martin.
Really can't add to that except, why are you in law school?
Right.
If you want to make the money, then be top 10%, be law review, be what I wasn't. If you want to have some fun, I mean really fun, if you want to do something that you did it like me for 40 years and you're still excited about coming down tomorrow, and if it goes well, you party with some fun people, then get all kind of experience. You look upon law school as a requirement that you have to get through, but that's not where you're going to learn. I got out of law school and walked into a criminal courtroom, and I didn't know which table I was supposed to sit at. And so do what you're doing now at the public defender's office. You three hang out with me. You go somewhere else, and do that. It's practical. It's real life. That's what we have to. It's storytelling, or however you do it real life. And if you really like this, it's the best job in the world.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you. We have, okay, a few more quick questions. And can you introduce yourself?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm Ross Palmy. I've been doing this for 30 years. Casey, the most important thing, when Tyrone was talking about having a reputation and being a fighter, the most important thing to me is having a reputation as a truth teller.
Right, there you go,
Because
right.
if the prosecutors don't believe you and the judges don't believe you, you're not going to get anywhere. But if they know you always tell the truth,
Right.
that's the reputation.
Good point, Ross. Good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Teresa Ford. I'm a newly licensed attorney. And when I came to law school, I was 39 years old. I had been in the corporate world, been on the other side of the EEOC realm and saw how crooked the companies were that I worked for. And said I'm going to go to the other side. So walking into law school, I knew I did not want to do criminal law. 100%. I said I'm never going to do it. Now, I'm having to change that just a little bit. And I'm here today because I need to learn a little bit more about the criminal court. But I'm inspired by what you did because I need to know how to basically transition from the normal employment, civil rights, constitutional side to the criminal side. Is there a similarity in how you handle things from preparing for a court date? Because I've done it not just in myself, but when I worked for a law firm, I did it with the firm, and they hardly ever go to trial on an EEOC case. They usually settle, or the client can't afford to go to trial all the way through the federal court throughout the process. So what should I do to transition over to this side of the house?
Give me your call. We about 3 or 4 hours. We need to talk afterwards. So I'll call you. We'll talk about it. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. I think I want to thank everybody on behalf of the Public Defender's Office for coming out. You know that we are regularly doing CLEs. I think we have at least once a month. We do them, and they're going to always be free. Make sure that you sign in, and make sure we will submit your credit for the CLE for your credit. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. And my word of advice, I tell everyone, and I'm going to end on this note. I've been a licensed attorney for going on 18 years, but I still feel like a baby lawyer when I'm around these wonderful attorneys. And the one thing that I sit and I say, and I think about that I don't do enough, and that some of us, because we're working every day and we're doing our cases, but my wonderful colleague who put this together, Eric Davis, and I watch him do it. He watches trials. There is nothing that can take the place. It is everyday education. And I just implore everyone here, whether you've put 18 years in or you're 2 years in, you want to know what makes a difference, is these attorneys that are doing this, these amazing attorneys. Sometimes you'll see them. I've been in trial and I've watched Tyrone watch me at the back of the courtroom, or Robert Jones, because they watch trials. And that's the best way to learn. And I want to end on that note and encourage everyone here to continue their education by doing that.